let's jump into using the ClickFunnels Editor. Now this is the main editor that you use to actually change the web pages and create the web pages that are part of the funnel. It's very intuitive, it's very easy to use. You don't need any technical skills in order to create pages and move elements and different pieces all over the page. Now, when you first get into ClickFunnels, there's a concept that Russell uses with these, and it's kind of like Lego blocks, and really that's how you build these pages, is kind of putting all these blocks together. And so in order to really use the editor effectively, you have to know about these core kind of building blocks. So really they're color coded here, and this will help you understand how these building blocks work. Now there's 4 basic blocks that really make up all the pages, and this is really all the main components you need to build a page. So the sections are kind of the overarching main kind of container on a page. So if you've ever seen a web page, you kind of see these like the hero section above the fold, and then all the different sections that, within the page. So when you get into that, a section then has rows indicated by blue here. And so rows can have multiple columns, like a row with 3 columns, and this allows you to break up the content and put elements side by side. And then elements are really the last piece of these building blocks, where this is where you find different drag and drop elements like headlines and subheadlines and paragraphs and images and videos and forms and all those different components, I guess, that make up a page are called elements in ClickFunnels. And so it's very easy to put these things together and drag elements onto your page to really build out the web page that you want. So it's a very powerful editor. It's really easy to build web pages and change them and copy. And I'm just going to jump in and show you a little bit more about this editor. So before we get into the editor, though, let's quickly look at how this, how a web page gets built based on these sections, rows, elements, and then moving them in. So you can see here on the left, you have all these different rows and elements kind of built all over here, and then you basically have this structure of a page, and then that moves in where you actually start to implement and push the content in. So you can see a big headline, a video that then you can host on YouTube and bring in into the page, and then all kinds of other content pieces. So let's jump in to the editor. So once you start a funnel and you build it out and you create the page, you then have this place where you got to put content. And so before we kind of show you the basics of how you can use templates and things like that, I thought I would start with a basic simple page and really highlight the section, the row with 2 columns you can see here, and then these different elements. So here's a headline element, you can see here, a subheadline. You can see the navigation and the different controls where you can delete, copy, and clone an element, get into the settings of it, and then move them around to different places on the page. Same goes for all these different things. So different elements, here's a video element, and so on. When you click on the settings, out comes the settings for that particular element. So you can see a top margin moves that and adds a margin to the top, which allows you to move around that element. You can choose all kinds of fonts on a headline element if you want to change it to the font you want. Easily increase the size of elements just by dragging these sliders. You could change the mobile size, again, because of different devices, it might look differently. So you can have different font sizes depending on the mobile or desktop experience. And then changing colors, simple color pickers to allow you to change the headline color. It's very easy to use. You can make things have some opacity on them. And then there's even some advanced settings where you can get to line height, letter spacing, which breaks letters closer or further apart. You can add more columns. There's all kinds of great stuff. You can add icons. Here, let's take an example and let's put a card icon beside this. You can see, boom, a card icon. So it becomes very easy to add different settings to all these different elements. Images, as an example, say you want to bring a logo in. This is where you can then use the tool to upload your images. Simple upload from your desktop. You want to bring in a particular image. it's that easy to bring it in. You want to drag it around, you can drag it and move it over here and decide to put, that video over here. It's very simple, very easy to use, very intuitive, no coding. You can really move things around to get the desired result you want. Another great thing here is, let's change the background of these sections. So again, even the sections have settings, very easy to use. So it's easy to change those colors. Another interesting thing you can do is you can duplicate any one of these things. So for example, let's duplicate the header. Allows you to duplicate it right down below. You can change the colors, leverage that, delete what you don't want. It makes it very easy to create pages that are exactly what it is you want. So let's look at the video settings here. So as you can see, you can bring YouTube videos in. You can use Vimeo or Wistia. A lot of ways you can bring video linking in. You can't actually store within ClickFunnels. You want to store on a video platform. Allows you to control autoplay functions, all kinds of neat things. Very easy to do that. What are some of the other elements? So if we wanted to add an element here below the headline, you'll see the whole element tree here where you can search for different elements. There's sections and categories for text, media, forms, content, countdown buttons, and other miscellaneous things. Some really neat things. You can bring in an audio player. Buttons are very easy. There's a simple button. You can select the action for that button, whether it's to submit a form or go to another website or a Facebook opt-in. A lot of great controls that you can do on the buttons. Some of the other elements that you can add are text inputs in order to create forms, shipping, countdown clocks are very interesting to create scarcity. Here you can say you got to register within a particular time and what the end time is. So there's lots of neat little elements like that. Another element we could add here are icons. You can add a navigation. So here, for example, feature, pricing, order form, whatever it is, you can add a simple navigation. And as you can see, very easy to add the URL, link, decide if you want to have it pop up into its own tab or a same window or new window. So again, very easy to add these kinds of elements to your page. So that's generally the editor. There are many other advanced features you can use with this, but the editor will help you really build some very easy pages and build out your funnels. It gets out of your way so that you can focus on the content and the storytelling and the messaging that you need to put into these pages. The other bonus that you get, which I'll dive into in another video, is that there are hundreds of templates you can use. You don't have to start from scratch like we have here to just show how this editor works. You can actually go back and you can use all kinds of great templates. And I'll show you one simple template for a simple squeeze page funnel. This one here with a simple headline. As you can see, there's not a lot to this. It has a simple header up at the top where you can put your logo. You put in a nice big headline, and then you have a form for getting started with a nice footer on the bottom. So as you can see, it's very easy to build these out. It's all just made up of those same green sections. Then you have these rows and columns in the blue, and then elements in orange. I hope this has been helpful to show you on the editor demo on this. Again, don't be afraid to play around in the editor and see all the different ways you can customize without having to write any code.